What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel. And today we're going to be talking about other trade targets Port Adelaide can look at this off-season in the trade period coming up in a couple of weeks' time. After all the grand final fanfare is over and done with, we get to work in the off-season, and there's plenty of opportunities we can look at. There's still a lot of players available that maybe we can dip our hat into, and we'll look at some more of the targets and what specifics we need on our list, especially with the news that Josh Dunkley will be looking to go to Brisbane instead of Port Adelaide, and I'll touch on that in a minute as well. But let's get straight into it. Let's look at more targets Port Adelaide can look at in the trade period. Now, you've seen that Willie Rioli, or Junior Rioli, I should say, has officially requested a trade to Port Adelaide. That deal will most likely get done. Georgiades is not going to be part of that deal, I can guarantee that. And if he is, there's going to be an absolute riot going down to Alberton to let one of our stars, the Mark of the Year winner of 2022, walk. Will be just such a shame. So we don't want that. As I said, Josh Dunkley as well is no longer wanting to come to Port Adelaide. We had a lucrative offer on the table. I'm pretty sure it was about 5 years at $700K. Brisbane have put on offer to the table. I think it's 6 years at $750K. So an extra year, an extra $50K per year is definitely something that will lure you to Brisbane. Also, I think it's the it's not a go home factor. It's more that his sister's up there, and I know his girlfriend or his partner plays netball in South Australia for Thunderbirds, but she's only contracted for 2023 at the Thunderbirds. So you would assume that she'll look likely to go somewhere else as well, up into Queensland, and be a part of the Dunkley family up there. So a massive request, a massive, I wouldn't say disappointment. I would definitely say a couple of years back when we were finishing in the top four and, we're actually playing competitive football and looking to be a big contender for years to come, I think Dunkley would have made a better choice in coming to Port Adelaide, but Brisbane made a prelim final. They're definitely set in stone and going to be in the top 8 contenders over the next few years. And when you've got a little bit of a go-home factor with family and stuff like that, in Brisbane, it was a no-brainer for Dunkley. So it's unfortunate, but Port Adelaide have to move on from that. And it definitely wasn't an area that was the highest of priorities. And I think we're obviously going to be getting Junior Rioli with filling that small forward factors with the depth that we need there, and Fantasia as well. I think we're also targeting Kysaiah Pickett. This is the first target on our list for today. I think, looking at his contract for 2023, he's obviously contracted there, but after that he's not. And this is, at the time and period that you start looking at players that are, got one more year left in their contract. Obviously they're going to be looking at signing Kozzy Pickett at Melbourne. He's happy at the club. Word is he's not that happy at, living in the Melbourne space, in the Melbourne arena. So definitely a alluring factor there. And, obviously with links in the Pickett family and Byron playing for Port Adelaide during the premiership year, there definitely would be a heavy push for Port to get Pickett to the club, and I think he feels that role a lot more than what Junior Rioli would, and Fantasia just don't know exactly what could happen. And I think, looking at this aspect, if we get Kozzy Pickett this year and you got Junior Rioli and then you've got Fantasia who could be fit and fine, it definitely predicts more of a Rosie Butters full-time midfield basis. Rosie's already cemented that aspect, I think, but you're looking at a Rosie Butters midfield full-time position, obviously with Boak in there as well, Ollie Wines, and the players that'll filter there as well. And you obviously will look at Karl Amon leaving, meaning that someone like a Dersma, or second-year player he will be next year, and Josh Sin have their opportunities on the wing as well. And it's not all doom and gloom in terms of that aspect, which is great. We've got a lot of depth in that area. It's just a matter of developing these players and not going absolutely hammer and tong at players that we probably have development in. And I think as well, looking at the aspect of bringing Josh Carr to the club, and he's a senior assistant, we're definitely setting up for 2024 with like Ken Hinkley's last year, next year. Obviously, you want to push for a premiership. You want to see where this club lands next year, but it definitely feels like we're definitely preparing for a life without Ken Hinkley. He's just going to fulfill his contract and move on, which I don't want to see happen. I do want to see success in 2023, regardless of who the coach is. I just want some sort of, making finals and doing the right thing. And we're not going to sign up as members to be part of a year that's going to be a waste, ready for a year after. That's not what we want as members. And I'll touch on that in other videos as well. Aaron Francis seems to be a big link to Port Adelaide, with Essendon looking to delist him. Otherwise, they'll look at getting like a cheap trade done there. You know, he's definitely got a go-home factor. He was really high in the draft when he got picked up. He's 194 centimetres, I'm pretty sure, as a defender. He can be a very much a key defender, big body defender, which would be great for us. He's definitely out of favour at Essendon. I think it's someone that we could definitely look at, definitely target, and he would probably fit in quite well at Port Adelaide. He's already had a tour. There's no set offer available for him, but I think even if he did get delisted, we'd pick him up for free in the pre-season draft. So I wouldn't be looking at trading away too many picks, especially with some points available and trying to keep the future ticking along. But as I said, you've got to stock up. You've got to really look at, see what's available, and maybe we look at something else that could be out of the box. A few other names I wanted to throw out there as well. I think there's been constant rumours about Tom Mitchell from Hawthorn. I didn't really set my stones on him coming to Port Adelaide. Just thought I'd throw the name out there. I don't think we really need a player like him, but I wouldn't mind a player that racks up 35, 40 disposals a game. You know, sometimes they can be quite prolific in the midfield, but I don't think he's really an option. There's that trade rumour there, and may as well raise the question, because at the end of the day, you may as well raise the question to everyone. I think Port Adelaide has been raising so many questions at different players, and some are sticking on the list, some aren't. So something to look at there in particular. Bailey Banfields as well, from Fremantle. He's 190 centimetres, small forward. Can play a bit of midfield action as well. He's 24 years of age, and might be looking at possibly leaving. He's out of favour. He doesn't get too much game time, and I think he's got one more year in his contract. But definitely another option there. And if you wanted as well to fill that defender position again, there's St Kilda's Tom Highmore. He's a South Aussie boy. He's obviously got picked up a couple of years back, and he's 193 centimetres. I think he played in the game against Port in Cairns earlier in the year. So definitely another option there to look at, in particular if we can't pick up another key defender. You want to obviously stock up those stocks there. And it'd be interesting to see as well what Port Adelaide do with targets that haven't been mentioned or haven't been pushed for, because overall, we definitely have been targeting specific players. Dunkley was the highest of priorities. That failed. Gozzy Pickett's the next that we're pushing for heavily, it seems. Obviously, Junior Rioli is going to be landing at Port Adelaide. That's a no-brainer. What really will disappoint me is if we come out of this trade period just with Junior Rioli. Now, we're going to be trading most likely Carl Amon's compensation pick, which will be a late to mid-second rounder for Junior Rioli. If that seems to be the only deal that happens in the end, I'm going to be very, very disappointed, because we've talked a lot of hype, and to see certain aspects fail, Dunkley, and we target players that are 27, 28 years of age, have had little to no football in the last few years, injury prone. It just seems like we're adding another player that's already on the list, you know what I mean? Like, it's not something that I think is the right angle. We land Gozzy Pickett, then I'm definitely ticking a few more boxes. But overall, we've got spaces to fill defender, a small forward, and probably a quick midfielder that can break from the packs, but also can be highly contested as well. So Dunkley was that perfect type, but obviously we couldn't get him, and there's still a bit to play out. So a lot to think about come to this trade period. Let me know in the comments, Port fans, who you think we should target in the trade period. It's coming up very, very soon. It's going to be a very busy off-season. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what plans are in place that we haven't heard about yet from Port Adelaide. But I really do think that this could be a bit of a 2012-2013 trade period where we land a whole bunch of list cloggers and seem to make the finals. I'm talking about your Campbell Heaths, your Lewis Stevensons, those types of players. Jack Hompshires as well, those players that came to the club and actually did a great bit of service at the footy club, and even like your Matt White types who were absolutely sensational during that period of time. So be interesting to see how it all pans out. But I'm looking forward to another busy trade period. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new, for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content to come your way across the rest of the season. It's going to be a massive off season, so make sure you jump on board. Thank you for watching again. My name's Anthony, and as always, count the pair.